I turned 40 this week, and I celebrated by going to Zimbabwe for a safari and South Africa for hiking and motorcycle riding and eating my way through every single city. And now I know what you're thinking. Cool, Tiamo, I love that for you. What does this have to do with my finances? It has everything to do with your finances. Because I'm not telling you this to make you feel some type of way about your Tuesday. I'm telling you this because the trip I just took is built entirely on systems that I'm going to hand to you today. Systems you can start right now towards whatever trip that will actually matter to you. It does not have to be Africa. It can be a weekend road trip, a flight to see someone you love, a trip you've been saying someday for about 3 years. The systems are the same. Let's talk about them. I'm Tiamo. This is Tiamo Tries Money. Before I talk about points or deals or any of the fun stuff I love talking about, I have to start here because this is the foundation everything else sits on. I do not book this trip and then figure out how to pay for it. I did not see flights and scramble and put them on a credit card. I did not put anything on a credit card I could not pay in full on the next statement balance. The trip was paid for before it was booked because of something called a sinking fund. Here's how it works, and it's genuinely simple. At the start of each year, I ask myself, what do I actually want this year? What trips, what experiences, what things matter to me? I put a rough number to it, and then I divide that number by 12, and that amount moves into a dedicated savings account every single month, automatically before I spend anything else. So when booking time comes for a trip, I'm not deciding whether I can afford it. I've actually already decided months ago that I could, and I save toward that decision consistently. Most people do this backwards. They see a trip, they get really excited, they look at their bank account, and they either stress book it or talk themselves out of it. And a sinking fund flips that. You decide what you want first, then you save in pieces. Then you show up and enjoy, and you already paid for it. And here's the thing. This works for everything. A trip, sure, that's super fun, but also you're buying a car repair you see coming, a wedding, a holiday season that doesn't wreck January. A sinking fund is just an intentional saving with a very specific target. Start one this week. I'm sure there's something that you want to buy. Even if it's $25 a month, the habit is worth more than the amount right now. Okay, now to credit card points. This is the part people either love deeply or find overwhelming, and I want to give you a middle ground version. I'm not a points hacker. I'm not up at 3 a.m. with 17 browser tabs open optimizing redemptions. I think that's a whole hobby and I respect it, but I do not have time for that. What I do is much simpler. I use credit cards for everything I'm already going to buy in my life. I put groceries on my credit cards, gas, bills, subscriptions, normal life, and I pay my balance in full every single month. So I let the points accumulate, and over time, those points become flights, and flights are typically the most expensive part of my trip. Now, and I want to be honest here because I think this is the most useful lesson. For this particular trip, I actually paid cash for flights. The routing that I wanted, the most direct way to get where I was going, just made more sense by paying in cash than burning points on a worse option. And I could make that call because the money was saved. Points are a tool, not a religion. Sometimes cash is the smarter move. But the hotels, fully covered with points, every single one. And here's what people miss. It's not just the free room. One of my credit cards gives me a $100 hotel credit automatically at booking. Early check-in, late checkout, little perks stacked on top of my already free room. It's already yours. You're already paying for it. Go find out what you have. This one sounds small, and it is and isn't so small. When I'm looking at hotels, I look for free breakfast as a filter. I always look for it. Am I passionate about hotel breakfast? No, genuinely no. I have eaten enough indifferent scrambled eggs, maybe not real, at a hotel buffet to last several lifetimes. That is not about the eggs. Here's the math. 2 people, breakfast every day, even at a modest $15 per person, over a week that's $200, you just save without thinking about it. That's $200 I could put towards a dinner that I actually care about, or a better activity, something that makes a real memory. I'm eating mediocre eggs, so I can eat incredible dinner later. That's the trade. And it's a trade I make every single time. When you're comparing hotels, one has free breakfast and one doesn't, run the math and the difference. Little hacks like this can really save you a little bit of cash while traveling. This other one takes 4 minutes, and most people skip it constantly. Before I book any tour or an activity and an excursion, I search for a promo code. And more often than not, it works. It works more often than it doesn't. Full price is for people who didn't Google first. The discount is usually right there. It takes one search for any trip I book. I also look to bundle for discounts, group rates. Sometimes I look to book directly with the operator instead of through a middleman. And these are not secret tactics. They're just things most people don't do because clicking the first book now button is easier. Spend a little bit of time. Inconvenient truth, a lot of money people spend on travel isn't the trip itself. It's the lazy tax, the convenience premium, the cost of not looking. So just take a peek and see what other options are there. Spend 5 minutes. Spend fully on what matters. Be ruthless about what doesn't. This is the philosophy that ties everything together. And I think it's what separates travel that feels amazing from travel that just feels expensive. You have to know what you actually care about on a trip, like specifically, because when you know that, you can be completely ruthless about everything else and spend freely on what matters without guilt. For this trip, I knew what I cared about. That's the safari, a motorcycle tour, a couple of specific meals at places I've been researching and dying to try. Those things, fully funded, zero apology, completely enjoyed. Everything else, I walked instead of taking cabs. I ate street food for lunch most days. I found the local spots, not the tourist spots. And here's the thing, some of my best travel memories are from the everything else category. I remember a trip to Thailand where we missed a fancy reservation because of jet lag and ended up eating incredible food out of a truck in the middle of the city at midnight. It cost almost nothing. We still talk about that experience. The expensive thing is not automatically the better thing. Know what you care about. Spend there. Spend all of the money there. Everywhere else, find the deal, find the local version, walk the long way, and see something unexpected. That's bougie on a budget. Not being cheap, being intentional. How to start your version of this. I want to address something before we wrap. If you're in your 20s and reading this going, that's great, Tiamo, but I'm just trying to get through the month, I hear you. I have been there. I'm not describing where I started. I'm describing where the system took me over time. Here's where you actually start. This week, open a separate savings account and name it something that makes it real. 2026 fund, wedding fund, house fund, flight fund, whatever. Even if you put $20 in there right now, you're building the habit, and the habit is the whole point. Tonight, read your credit card benefits if you have a credit card. All of them. Find out what you're already sitting on that you're not using. And right now, decide on what version of it looks like for you. It does not have to be a big trip for your 40th birthday. It does have to be intentional. It just has to be something that matters to you. Put a rough number on it. Divide by 12. Start moving that amount somewhere intentional every month. The best trips are not the ones you scramble for and stress you out. They're the ones you show up knowing it's already all handled. I spent a lot of time thinking that the kind of travel I wanted was for people with more money, more luck, or a different life. And then I stopped waiting and started building. A sinking fund, points for hotels, promo codes for everything, free breakfast funding, better dinners, spending fully on what matters and not at all on what doesn't. None of these are complicated. None require a high income to start. They just require deciding in advance that the thing that you want is worth planning for. Pick your trip, put a number on it, start saving this month. You don't have to be rich to travel well. You just have to plan like it matters, because it does. I'm Tiamo. Drop your money questions in the comments below. Your question might be next week's episode. Thanks for joining me on my birthday. Real money questions answered honestly, no pretending like I've always had it together.